Today, I'm going to be reading one for the more littles. So that's Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss, and then a couple of other things. So bear with me as I don't think I can make my page live today, or maybe I can, I don't know. I'm gonna try it. So there. I think I'm live on my page, but it's gonna be backwards. I'm sorry, I'm blocking the, man, this is not good. Not a good time today. Oh, there we go. So mine's gonna be a little backwards, but that's gonna be okay. All right, so we're gonna start with Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss, which I love Dr. Seuss. And hi, Janie Cormier. I'm sorry that it's backwards, but you know, just listen and have a good time and look at the pictures. That's all I can say on my live thing. So, Horton Hears a Who. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton. But who are you? Where? He looked and he looked. He could see nothing there but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. Can you see the dust? They're right there. Hi, Kristen. I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. Everything's blue today. Well, fixing things, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me. There we go. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. Look at him, riding the speck of dust. Hi, Veronica, dear. So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air, and he lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humph, humphed a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, humph, too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been. Believe me, said Horton, I'll tell you sincerely. My ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four. Quite likely. A family, for all that we know. A family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. Hi, Amanda. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Newell. And the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Hustling. I'm dropping things too. Hustling. Sorry, everyone on the watching me. My tech production values today are quite bad. All right, moving on. Don't you love live theater? This is live theater, y'all. Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on the flower. And Horton walked, worrying, almost an hour. Should I put this speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't. After all, a person's a person, no matter how small. I wanted you to see the picture. Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could just barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton. He put his ear near it. My friend, came the voice. You're a very fine friend. You've helped all of us folks on this dust speck. Dust speck, no end. You've saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores. You mean, Horton gasped, you have buildings there too? Oh, yes, piped the voice. We most certainly do. I know, called the voice. It's too small to be seen, but I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who. And we who are all thankful and grateful to you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, You're safe now, don't worry. I won't let you down. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, 3 big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickersham brothers came shouting, What rot! This elephant's talking to who's who are not. They aren't any who's, and they don't have a mayor. And we're going to stop all this nonsense. So there. Mayor there? What a weird rhyme. All right. All right, everybody watching my live video feed, it's just going to be sideways. That's all there is to it. They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to a black-bottomed eagle named Vladikov, a mighty strong eagle, a very swift wing. And they said, Will you kindly get rid of this thing? And before the poor elephant could even speak, that eagle flew off with a flower in his beak. Hi, Melissa Stanley and Tyler. All that late afternoon and far into the night, that black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered its toenails and battered his bones, and begged, Please don't harm all my little folks who have as much right to live as us bigger folks do. But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called back, Quit your yapping! I'll fly the night through. I'm a bird. I don't mind it. And I'll hide this tomorrow. Well, you'll never find it. And at 6:56, the next morning, he did it. It sure was a terrible place that he hid it. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. Find that, sneered the bird, but I think you will fail. And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. Hi, Renee. I'll find it, cried Horton. I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust. And clover by clover, with care, he picked up and searched them and called, Are you there? But clover by clover by clover, he found that the one he sought for was just not around. And by noon, poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, hi James Turner, till he found them at last on the 3 millionth flower. My friends, cried the elephant, tell me, do tell, are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well? From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor. We really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks have all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please, pleaded that voice of the mayor's, will you stick by us, who's, while we're making repairs? Of course, Horton answered. Of course, I'll stick by you small folks through thin and through thick. To voice. For almost 2 days, you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carryings on in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state, snapped the big kangaroo, that your silly, nonsensical game is all through. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for your dust speck, ha! That we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of bezel nut oil. Boil it? Gasped Horton. Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons. They'll prove it to you. Hi, Brianna. Mr. Mayor, Horton called. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out, make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in a bezel nut stew. And down on the dust speck, the scared little mayor, quick, called a big meeting in the Whoville town square. And his people cried loudly. They cried out in fear, we are here, we are here, we are here, we are here. Can you hear them? The elephant smiled. That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well. All I heard, snapped the big kangaroo, was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me neither. Grab him, they shouted, and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight so it will never shake loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in the bezel nut juice. Ken Bowers Ray Barron is watching. Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They beat him. They mauled him. They started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call to the mayor, don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard. So come on now and try. I love this book too. The mayor grabbed the tom-tom. He started to smack it. And all over Whoville, they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles. They beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops and old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots on clarinets, oompas, and boompas, and flutes. Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling, mad hullabaloo, "Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?" And Horton called back, "I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong quite as mine. They don't hear a thing. And you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is there anyone shirking?" Through the town rushed the mayor from east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping, but it wasn't enough. All this ruckus and roar, he had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax Apartments, apartment 12J. And the very small shirker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp. And the mayor rushed inside and he grabbed the young twerp. And he climbed with the lad up the Eiffelberg Tower. "This," cried the mayor, "is your town's darkest hour. The time for all who have blood that is red to come out to the aid of their country," he said. "We've got to make noises in greater amounts. So open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts." Trent Merchant, how you doing? Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and he shouted out, "Yop!" And that yop, that one small extra yop, put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on that clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. "Do you see what I mean? They've proved they are persons, no matter how small, and the whole world was saved by the smallest of all." "How true, yes, how true," said the big kangaroo. "And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, what do you think he said? "Me too! From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how smallish." And that was Horton Here's a Who. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? I love it. I like a person's a person, no matter how small. And everybody has a voice, right? Everybody can make a difference with their one small yop. Yop, that's right. That's correct. All right, I'm going to straighten my own camera out a little bit. Hopefully it will get better. I don't know. It's just not wanting to grab a hold of anything today. Maybe that helps. Anyway, hi, Tom. So my next tale is Never Laugh at Bears, a Transylvanian folk tale by Victor Ambrus. I know it's backwards for the, yay! Way to go. Hi, Sam. All right. This is Never Laugh at Bears. A long way from here, near the high Carpathian mountains, lived a poor woodcutter. He had a wife, 3 children, 1 cow, and a few hens. Sleep well, V. One morning, the woodcutter took his cow to the edge of the forest to plow his field. As he was working, he heard a lot of growling and squeaking coming from the forest. He went to investigate. And what did he see? What do you think it was? A big brown bear was having a fight with a little gray rabbit. Every time the bear swung a punch, the little rabbit hopped out of the way. The woodcutter burst out laughing. He laughed so much that he fell to the ground, clutching his stomach. Have you ever laughed that hard? The bear was furious at being laughed at. He turned on the woodcutter and growled, "What's so funny, you miserable woodcutter?" Forgive me, Mr. Bear, but I could not stop myself from laughing, seeing such a handsome, grand animal as yourself fighting a little slip of a rabbit, stammered the woodcutter. Very well, poor man. You will regret this for the rest of your life. I'm going to eat your cow for my supper, and I may even have you for afters. The woodcutter took fright at this and started to plead with the bear. Oh, Mr. Bear, please don't eat my cow until after sunset. First, let me finish plowing the field so I can sow some seed for next year. Then my wife and 3 children will have something to eat. As you've asked me nicely, answered the bear, I will leave you alone until after sunset, but you had better hurry because I'm getting really hungry. The poor woodcutter started plowing the field, and then he sat down to eat his lunch. He didn't have much of an appetite. He sat there holding his head in his hands. Who should come along but a cunning fox? What's upsetting you so much, my friend? He asked the woodcutter. Don't even ask me, fox, he replied. I'm very sad because the bear is coming to eat my cow at sunset and may even have me for afters. Is that all? If you promise me a treat, I might be able to help you, murmured the fox. Look at that fox. What if I got that you would want, fox? Asked the woodcutter. If you've got a cow, said the wily fox, you may well have a few hens to go with it. I'm not greedy. So if you give me 6 fat hens and a cockerel, I will save you from the bear. Listen out for the hunting horn when I go into the forest and I see what a fright the bear will get. Very well, sighed the woodcutter as the fox scampered away. Hello, Alan. The woodcutter pondered. He didn't want to lose his cow to the bear, but if he lost all his hens to the fox, there would be no eggs for the family to eat. He thought hard, and then he quickly fetched a large coal sack from his house and carried on plowing. He had nearly finished when the big brown bear arrived. Let's have your cow, then, said the bear hungrily. Just then the fox began trumpeting away in the forest. What's that noise? Asked the worried bear. Oh, it's just those hunters blowing their horns again, said the woodcutter. Quick, hide me somewhere, cried the bear, shaking with fright. If you save me, you can keep your cow. Jump into the sack and don't make a sound, said the woodcutter. The bear did as he was told, and the woodcutter tied the coal sack with a strong rope and took it back to his house. A little later, the fox trotted purposefully into the woodcutter's yard. What's in the bag? He demanded in a big voice. A big voice. What's in the bag? He demanded in a big voice. Your hens and your cockerel, whispered the woodcutter. And as your plan worked so well, I put in a few extra hens. Just take it away quickly before the bear comes back. Hi, Theo. The fox dragged away the heavy sack through the bushes and trees right into the middle of the forest. He opened it up, and out popped the bear, covered in bumps, bruises, and coal dust. He lashed out at the fox in a rage, but the fox jumped out of the way as quickly as lightning. For all I know, they are still fighting. The woodcutter went home to his wife and 3 children, and they had a big pot of goulash to celebrate. If you ever go near a forest and see a big brown bear chasing a little red fox or a little gray rabbit, whatever you do, don't laugh. Bears don't like it. And that is the end of the Transylvanian folktale called Bear Never Laugh at Bears. Isn't it cute? I thought it was cute. My gosh, I need a haircut. Okay, and last but certainly not least, this is a shout out to my good friend and storyteller, Carmen Agraditi, who wrote 14 Cows for America. I'm going to read that to you. She also wrote this book called Martina, the Beautiful Cockroach, which if you just search for Carmen Agraditi on Facebook, you can watch her actually read this book herself. She lives in Decatur, not very far from here. So she's a Georgia girl. So, all right. 14 Cows for America by Carmen Agraditi, illustrated by Thomas Gonzalez. And I love this book because it's so pretty to look at. And this is a true story. 14 Cows for America. The remote village waits for a story to be told. News travels slowly to this corner of Kenya. As Kamali nears the village, he watches a herd of bull giraffes cross the open grassland. He smiles. He has been away a long time. Trying to take the glare away. Hi, Rachel Odell. A girl sitting under a guava tree sees him first and cries out to the others. The children run to him with the speed and grace of cheetahs. He greets them with a gentle touch on the head, a warrior's blessing. Aren't these illustrations amazing? The rest of the tribe soon surrounds Kimale. These are his people. These are the Maasai. Once they were feared warriors. Now they live peaceably as nomadic cattle herders. They treat their cows as kindly as they do their children. They sing to them. They give them names. They shelter the young ones in their homes. Without the herd, the tribe might starve. To the Maasai, the cow is life. I'm going to move my camera just a bit. There we go. Supa, hello. Kamali hears again and again. Everyone wants to greet him. His eyes find his mother across the Ankang, the ring of huts with their roofs of sun-baked dung. She spreads her arms and calls to him, Akua, welcome, my son. Hi, Barbara Cole, Beautyheart. Kimali sighs. He is home. This is sweeter and sadder because he cannot say, He must return to the faraway country where he is learning to be a doctor. He thinks of New York then. He remembers September. A child asks if he has brought any stories. Kimberly nods. He has brought with him one story. It has burned a hole in his heart. But first, he must speak with the elders. Later, in a tradition as old as the Maasai, the rest of the tribe gathers under an acacia tree to hear the story. There is a terrible stillness in the air as the tale unfolds. With growing disbelief, men, women, and children listen. Buildings so tall they can touch the sky? Fires so hot they can melt iron? Smoke and dust so thick they can block out the sun? The story ends. More than 3,000 souls are lost. A great silence falls over the Maasai. Kimberly waits. He knows his people. They are fierce when provoked, but easily moved to kindness when they hear of suffering or injustice. At last, an elder speaks. He is shaken, but above all, he is sad. What can we do for these poor people? Nearby, a cow lows. Heads turn toward the herd. To the Maasai, Kimberly says softly, the cow is life. Turning to the elders, Kimberly offers his only cow in Karus. He asks for their blessing. They give it gladly, but they want to offer something more. The tribe sends word to the United States Embassy in Nairobi. In response, the embassy sends a diplomat. His jeep bounces along the dusty, rusty roads, rugged roads. He is hot and tired. He thinks he's going to meet with Maasai elders. He cannot be more wrong. As the jeep nears the edge of the village, the man sits up. Clearly, this is no ordinary diplomatic visit. This is a ceremony. Hundreds of Maasai greet the American in full tribal splendor. At the sight of the brilliant blood-red tunics and spectacular beaded collars, he can only marvel. It is a day of sacred ritual. Young warriors dance, leaping into the air like fish from a stream. Women sing mournful songs. Children fill their bellies with milk. Speeches are exchanged. And now it is time. Kimberly and his people gather on a sacred knoll far from the village. The only sound is the gentle chiming of cowbells. The elders chant a blessing in Ma as the Maasai people of Kenya present 14 cows for America. Because there is no nation so powerful it cannot be wounded, nor a people so small they cannot offer mighty comfort. And then there's a note from the actual person. So that's the end of that story. And if you look in this illustration, if I can get it correct, okay, there we go. In his eyes is the reflection of the Twin Towers in New York. So this book is about 9/11 and how the Maasai people gave the gift of the 14 cows to the American diplomats. Isn't that sweet? So in this time of weirdness right now, we can all do an act of kindness that might go beyond what people think it's going to be. So those are my 3 stories. I hope you enjoyed them, and I'll be back on. This is for the Atlanta Arts Relief Fund, if you're watching my Facebook page. So check them out. They do a lot of great charitable work. And the next time I'm on is the 14th, the 15th, which is Friday. Friday the 15th. So we'll see you then. I hope you enjoyed it, and take care, and I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.